Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Eris, and today we're going to be working on this tote with a zipper. So now let's get to it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So today I'm working with faux leather. I really love this because they come in all forms of prints and shapes. You can see the face, it looks like real leather, but it has sort of like a cotton backing, and I really love this print. So this is a template I have used in one of my older videos, but I really liked it, and I was like, okay, let me try this again and give it like a more complicated design, and let me see how it's going to turn out. So this is the main piece and the two panels for the side. I sort of already made the straps out. I just cut them and I gave them genuine leather backing because I want them to be really strong, and I sort of just dyed the edges, and they've got rounded edges. You're gonna see why I am doing this later on. So wait for the measurements. So the sides are 25 by 12 centimeters, the straps are 50 by 2.5 centimeters, and the main piece is 35, and the entire length is 61 centimeters. This is very important. It's not folded. It's probably if you lay it out to 61, so you don't make the mistake. And now this is for the lining. I'm using a fabric inner lining, and the back lining itself is 51 by 45. The base is 10 by 33. I did not follow the particular order, but well, just take this down in case you want to try this, and you're going to see me lay them out later on. So to start with, this is the easy part actually. It's just making the outer part. You just join the three pieces, and I'm just going to go around and clip everything, so when I'm sewing I don't have parts moving around or whatever. So I'm just going to take clip and take it to the machines for sewing, and stitching the two sides, putting everything together. But right before I flip this out, I'm going to fold it. And for that, I'm going to have to use some glue. I'm just going to spread out some contact glue all around the opening of the bag, because it's either this or you have to get clean cuts and use edge paint. But because this is faux leather, they're really thin and delicate, so they're super great for this type of finishing, where you just sort of put glue around the tip and you just fold it in on itself. So, and because of this, I always like to give 1 extra centimeter on every part, because I like to leave space for allowance for gluing, or if I want to sew, I like to sew out exactly 1 centimeter every time. So I'm just going to go around and just carefully fold it on itself. I'm doing this right before I flip because it's easier to do it this way than having the right side out and folding it in. So I always prefer doing it like this. I've got the wrong side, and I'm just going to carefully go around and fold everything on itself. Then we'll flip it inside out. Just tuck it in. So surprisingly, this is the easiest part. It only gets harder from here. So just to give it like a really flat and good finish, I'm just going to take my rubber hammer, and I'm just going to lay it flat on my table and just sort of give it really firm hits. This is just to seal off any air pockets, or just make it look as flat and as neat as possible. So I'm going to go on and do the zips. I don't have a particular measurement for the zip. It can be as long as you want it, but just not too short, because you want the bag to be able to open up wide. So that being said, this is actually supposed to be in 2 pieces, but I didn't want to have to make 4 different pieces and start making the whole thing again. So I just made two long strips that you're going to see shortly why I have long strips instead of like short strips. But these are going to act like how would you say, it's to make the zip part of it. You don't just want the zip to be there, you want it to have like extensions. Yes, I think that's the way to call it. So I'm just going to measure where I have to stop to put the glue. And it's always great to apply contact glue on every surface you want to. You can't just put it dry. It has to be slathered in glue. So I'm doing it on both sides of the zip, both back and front. So when I'm going to lay it flat on this piece, it's going to stick immediately. So I'm going to put it on the strip first, and I'm going to fold it back on itself. So you could do it like this. This is the lazy man's way. Or you could make two different pieces, then sandwich your zip in the middle. But this is supposed to be easier, and I like the fact that right at the front of the zip, it just folds on itself. You don't have to worry about anything. So I'm just going to press it down on both sides. I'm going to let it stay a bit. So I'm going to put some pressure, and I take it for stitching. I'm so sorry, I'm skipping a lot of sewing sequences in this video because I sort of realized that they waste time. Yeah, I imagine if you're already watching this, you should already know how to sew. So I'm sorry. So here I am just going to stick this some people call this a zip stopper, but it's sort of decorative though. At least it's pretty obvious what it's going to do. So you just fold the ends of the zip and you tuck this in, so you don't have any situation where your zip just sort of opens on the wrong end and you have your zipper head flying around. So I'm just going to screw this down to secure the end of the zip to make sure it doesn't come out. So I've got my foam base. I'm just going to lay this out. I don't want the bag to be too flabby. Like, I want it to be soft, don't get me wrong, but I don't want it to be too flabby that it cannot even stand on its own. So I'm just going to put this foam. I glued it to the base so it doesn't shift or anything. I don't want to put legs. It was a personal choice, but I wanted a base. I wanted the bag to be able to at least stand on its own. So this is optional. I am just sewing like an inner pocket. I'm not going to use zip for this. I just want like a spare compartment where I could just slip my phone in and not have to search around the whole purse for it. So there is no specific measurement for this. I just picked up a random scrap and I'm like, okay, let me just do this. I have done this pattern of making an inner pocket. I've done it so many times. You could check my other videos out for it. But this is just like an addition. You can choose to do this or not. So I'm just going to sew on the rectangular shape I already drew out. I'm sewing all around the shape. I'm just going to leave the middle line because that one is for cutting. You don't sew that. You just cut the hole through both the extra piece and the main piece of the bag. And you just sort of press that through. You kind of tuck it inside out. And I'm on a hyper speed right now, but yeah, you sort of get the gist. And iron it out, fold it on itself, and pin, and then more pins, and hopefully the last pin. Oh, thank God, that's the last pin. Then I'm going to sew it out. So I already sort of went ahead to join the ends of the bag because I have to also make the inner part, and to give it that like really good look, you have to literally make sort of like a second bag and fit it into the main bag. So it's 3 pieces right now. There's the zipper, there is a top. It's pretty much the same length with the opening of the bag. Everything has to match exactly. It has to be exact. That's the top and that's the bag, and you see it's supposed to fit exactly. Then you join the 3 pieces together. But let me see. First I would have to peg, rather clip the zip inside. I have to find the middle because this is going to be a little smaller than the opening of the bag, and I'm just going to clip it down. Then this is the technical part. I flipped the bag, and I'm just going to pay attention. So I clipped the opening of the bag, that's the upper part of the inner lining. I clipped it to the zip, and you can see how it's already sort of taking shape here. So I'm just going to turn this and clip it to the lining. So you stuff that in. You need to really pay attention because I made mistakes here too. I got distracted and I clipped it in the wrong way. So it's supposed to fit. Every centimeter counts. It needs to be exactly the same. So whenever you're measuring, you need to be very sure. If you have to take a calculator, you need to calculate. So I'm just going to clip this all around, and I'm going to sew all 3 pieces together. Okay, then you should, I do this just to be sure of what I'm doing. I don't want to just take it and sew blindly. I have to make sure it's the right side. All the right sides need to be together, because you need to always remember the fact that this is going to fit into the other bag, so it's the opposites. So this one has all the right things facing outside. The inner bag has to have all the goodies inside. So when you put them like this, it's sort of a perfect match. So I'm just going to confirm, make sure it's exactly, and thank my lucky stars, it actually fits. So I'm just going to go in and clip this all around. And you need to also take note that at this point, if you're going to add straps to the outer part, you should. But I was using a different technique, so that was why I didn't add any strap before I closed the bag. Sorry. Oh my god, so much talking. I'm totally using my hand right now. I didn't want to just sew on high speed because I wanted the thing to come out perfectly. And there are my beautiful stitches. Neat. So just checking quality control. You need to make sure, because this is something you cannot botch. So, and because I'm going with a different type of bag straps here, where I get to fix the eyelets, then I use the circle rings or the O rings. So I'm going to fix my straps after I have closed the bag. And at this point, I am taking my first, my measurement is 7 centimeters from the end, but 2 centimeters in. Because you want the 2 holes to be the same place, so you literally have to count with your fingers. You do not want to make mistakes. So I'm just going to mark my spots on both sides of the bag, check if it's wide enough or if it looks proper enough. Just check to be on the safe side. Don't be a hero. So I'm going to punch 4 holes on the bags, and I'm using half an inch wide punch, which is also the same size of the eyelets I'm going to use. And I'm going to punch 4 holes. Just going to lay it flat on my polymer punching board. Make sure it's safe. You can see it's even written on like half inch punch. Then my my bag strap, I'm just going to punch the same hole, like literally everywhere that I have to put eyelet on. I have to punch holes. So any place that's going to take an eyelet needs to get a hole. So just marking. This is tedious. Just punch. Why am I even showing all this? You get the gist, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna put a piece of a veg tan leather and put the first part of the eyelets. For some weird reason, I am always forgetting to buy the eyelet setter machine. So I have been using this same old raggedy bolt that was filed down by a welder for me as my rivet setter. I need to get the machine. I have been making up excuses, but this is unprofessional. But it works though, because you just use the bolts and you sort of tap it down a bit. Then you just finish it off with your rubber hammer. Rubber hammer, because it doesn't it's not too much pressure. It's just the right amount and it doesn't really scratch it. So I'm just going to, as I hit, I'm sort of twirling it out a bit because I'm trying to funnel the mouth a bit. Then I just sort of use my hammer in directional hits, and I'm doing the same thing for the bag. And I don't know, I just really wanted to do this so bad. I didn't want to just leave the holes like that, because this is faux leather, and faux leather is really delicate. Like, I'm sure with the right amount of load in my bag it can actually rip through. So I guess the eyelets will sort of give reinforcement, I think that's a word, like some form of reinforcement to this. So I'm just going to do it on all the holes, so that way I feel like my bag is not just going to rip and drop from my shoulders when I'm carrying it. So I'm just going to do the same thing, circle motions, and hit it down with my hammer, which is literally giving up on me. So with all the holes done, all the holes eyeletted, this is the O-ring. I got the one that sort of opens, so you don't really need any kind of plier or heavy duty thing. The thing opens on itself, so it's easy to just take off and replace anytime. So I'm just going to do the same thing, easy peasy. I'm not going to lemon squeezy, I promise. So I'm just going to do the same thing for both sides, and hook and hook, easy. Same thing, hook and hook. And there, ladies and gentlemen, you have successfully learned how to make a tote like a pro. Thank you for watching so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. My name is Eris, and thank you for watching.